بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين. Inshallah, today our lecture is going to be about the meaning of Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Many times we go to masjid, we go to Husayniyah, or we go to a different worship place, and we see always Muslims, specifically the Shi'at Ahlul Bayt, the follower of Ahlul Bayt, they always mention at the very beginning of any lecture or if they want to do anything in a masjid or beginning of a supplication or a dua, they will say or recite Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, and you will see all the people, the believers in the Mu'mineen, they do Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad in this form. The Salawat has a very deep meaning. We miss this meaning over time. Why? Because when we always practice something, we always forget about what exactly those practices are. Even though all our basic practices are very important in Islam, and Allah Azza wa Jal, He symbolized these acts and these supplication in a form that all the mu'mineen will have benefits on. And the benefits of Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad is very high. In this lecture, I'm not going to talk about the benefits. I'm not going to talk about what exactly, if you say it 100 times, what does it do, or so on. Even though the benefits is very high, and you can search this. Alhamdulillah, now we have Google, and we have many institutes that always focus on bringing those a'mal, bringing those supplications, so people can act upon. Inshallah, this lecture is going to have a deep meaning about what is Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad mean. In a normal form in Arabic, we have a word called Salat. Salat is the prayer, is the regular prayer that you do usually. And regular prayer, always Allah Azza wa Jal, the way He formed it, the way we do it, it has even a meaning. And I explained this before, but for new people I will just explain a little bit, and then inshallah I will add more further things about the meaning of Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allah Azza wa Jal, when He created Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and then from His nur He created everything. Everything was created from nur, from the ray of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And from this creation, Allah Azza wa Jal on earth, He wants us to find those riddles. Some people say Allah Azza wa Jal, He doesn't want to give us any riddles. No, He does give us riddles. By the way, when you dream, it's a riddle, and you have to ask someone, what does it mean? Can you interpret my dream? Why, when someone look at the Quran al-Kareem, he just want to see the Quran is very easy to understand, and it is very easy to understand. But the understanding of the Quran al-Kareem always goes in levels. For example, if you bring someone, he's 7 years old and he want to read the Quran, he will understand from the Quran. Nobody said he wouldn't understand anything, and everything in the Quran is secrets. No, every person, every specialty, anyone. Like if a doctor read the Quran, he will interpret it in a way. If a professor or if an engineer read the Quran, he will interpret it in such way. And Allah Azza wa Jal, He put the Quran in a unique way that every single one interpret the Quran in a format of purification, that what exactly He did to Himself to give the real explanation. And this is the meaning of Inna yassarna al-Qur'ana lidhikr fahal min mudhakkir. Allah Azza wa Jal, He made the Quran very simple to understand. At the same time, it is for the dhikr, and dhikr always go in level. I will show you what I'm talking about. In the regular prayer, Allah Azza wa Jal, in the way we stand up, in the way we do ruku' and sujood, every single one has a symbol. And for example, the symbol of when you stand up at the very beginning and you say Allahu Akbar, this Allahu Akbar, when you do, this is what we call it nahr. Like you put your hand over here, and it's like you're doing nahr. And this nahr was mentioned in one of the ayat. Many people, they miss the meaning, they miss the symbol of Allah Azza wa Jal. Why exactly He mentioned nahr? And when exactly we do the salah, when we go to salah, do Allahu Akbar like this, nobody asks why we have this. And Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he did teach Amir al-Mu'min, and he said, Amir al-Mu'min, your follower, they will be very known by doing this Allahu Akbar. We are maybe the only people, every time you go to the masjid, you see many people, they're doing this nahr. And this Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentioned it in the Quran. And this is the beginning of the meaning of Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, because I will show you a secret inside the brain itself and inside the head itself, why we do this symbol, what is it representing, what is bringing to understand, and what is from the level of understanding of the Salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad mean. In Surah Al-Kawthar, we have Surah Al-Kawthar. It's an important surah from and all the Quran Al-Karim is important. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar, fasalli li rabbika wanhar, Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. In the meaning, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, say, surely we have given you Kawthar, and therefore pray to your Lord and make a sacrifice. And then he said after that, surely your enemy is the one who shall be without posterity. The meaning of Surah Al-Kawthar is important. Many Shia ulama, they keep saying from the school of thought of Ahl al-Bayt, or the other school of thoughts, the school of thought of Ahl al-Bayt, they mention the Al-Kawthar. They say, what is Al-Kawthar? Al-Kawthar, they say, it's a river in heaven. Allah Azza wa Jal named it Al-Kawthar, and it's an important river, by the way. And then the Shia of Ahl al-Bayt, they add some narration from Ahl al-Bayt. They say Al-Kawthar is As-Sayyidah Zahra Salamullah alayha. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentioned Surah Al-Kawthar mainly. I will tell you the story, which is, it's not true, because you will understand if we still believe in what the meaning now of Surah Al-Kawthar. It's a humiliation of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. It's a humiliation of Sayyidah Zahra. We are humiliating Rasulullah and Sayyidah Zahra both together. It is very important to understand a new meaning for it. The new meaning, what do I mean by new meaning? I'm not bringing a new Quran, no. I'm trying to analyze this meaning. This meaning say, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar. Allah Azza wa Jal revealed this ayah because one of the kuffar, or the disbelievers in Rasulullah or in Allah, he kept making fun, mocking Rasulullah, saying, oh Rasulullah, you don't have any kids. Why? Because you cannot bring any kids. You cannot have any kids because you have an issue in you. And then while we know that Rasulullah, he did, Allah Azza wa Jal, He gave him 2 kids. The first one is Al-Qasim alayhi salam, because that's why we call him Abu al-Qasim Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the second name is what? Is Ibrahim alayhi salam. That's why we call him Abu Ibrahim, the father of Ibrahim. Ibrahim, yani the son of Rasulullah, not the Prophet Abraham. So Rasulullah had kids, and the narration, from if you open the books, saying what does it mean Surah Al-Kawthar, you say Allah Azza wa Jal revealed it because Rasulullah he felt hurt from this believer when he kept mocking him about not having boys as kids. And then they say because Allah Azza wa Jal, He wanna make Rasulullah happy, He told him, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar, we gave you Fatima, we gave you Az-Zahra, we gave you a river in heaven. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Now the meaning of Salli rabbika wanhar. By the way, all this is guiding me to show you what does it mean. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Please stay patient, and because I'm giving you new information, and this information need to be processed and analyzed. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar over here, therefore pray to your Lord and make a sacrifice. You see, this is when we translate the Quran, it will start changing the meaning, the real meaning of what does it mean exactly. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ in this ayah, or in this surah. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْحَرْ in this surah is, therefore pray to your Lord and make a sacrifice. Over here, inhar meaning a sacrifice. In reality, in the Shia of Ahl Bayt saying inhar fasalli, when you go to the salat, you sit down on a prayer rug, and then you say Allahu Akbar, like this, Allahu Akbar. This is mean inhar. You put your your thumbs on your neck over there, and this is why you call it inhar. That's why when you bring a knife to a sacrifice, you say inhar, a sacrifice from the neck. Over here, same thing with the inhar. I will go with the second meaning. Why? Because there's no relation between the prayers and the sacrifice. There's no relation. Why Allah Azza wa Jalla say pray to God and go sacrifice? Pray. This is will bring the old meaning of religion. Allah Azza wa Jalla never asked us for a sacrifice. There's no sacrifice in religion like the old people when they used to worship idols. When they worship an idol, they bring someone, a human being, and they do a sacrifice for it. And he doesn't do a sacrifice even with just a regular sheep or something else. And then he said, Inna shani'aka huwal abtar. Surely your enemy is the one who shall be without prosperity. Yani over here, the meaning in Arabic, when Allah Azza wa Jal meant in the narration said, the person who is mocking you, he is the one who doesn't have kids. He doesn't have any babies or so on. So he was mocking you and he was making fun of you while he doesn't have anyone. So the narration said, the narration that sometimes it's hard to believe in, that Rasulullah, he was happy because this is what he was revealed. Let's start the main explanation. So if we believe in this explanation, we understand that we are humiliating Sayyidah Zahra, we're humiliating Rasulullah, and we're humiliating the meaning of Surah Al-Kawthar. Because Rasulullah, he had kids, but Allah Azza wa Jal, he took them while they were young. Allah Azza wa Jal asked Rasulullah, he said, do you want to keep your kids or you want me to give you a Zahra? We have a narration that said that. And Rasulullah, he chose a Zahra, and he chose that all the Ahl al-Bayt will come from Sayyidah Zahra and from Imam Ali. And remember, I told you before, everything Rasulullah and Ahl al-Bayt decide and have decision, and Allah Azza wa Jal is content with this decision for sure, because they represent Allah Azza wa Jal on earth. Allah Azza wa Jal will make the creation based on this understanding. And when I previously kept telling you about the sacred geometry, you see those 6 circles, this is representing Hadith al-Kisa. And now we have many people in the Middle East, they're saying Hadith al-Kisa is not authentic, because why Allah Azza wa Jal, he want to create everything for them, while everything is creating from them and for them, because Allah Azza wa Jal, he want us to understand the meaning of creation for them. And this is what we need to focus now in this lecture, in the meaning of what does it mean Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, because it has a meaning for sure. I can say it in 1 minute, but the problem is we have to build our logic so we understand, we can comprehend the Quran al-Kareem in the meaning of, start questioning the Quran and the narration that was mentioned in a logical way. Because if we keep just taking over and over and over, we will never reach any point except humiliating Rasulullah. Because now the mulhideen, the people who doesn't believe in God, atheists, and they're analyzing all these things, and when they sit down with a believer, they start asking him this question, they shock him. And I don't want you to be shocked. I want you to understand the Quran from the real perspective of logic and the combination of what exactly Allah Azza wa Jal wanted from us and what exactly He wants us to continue with. Like, so let's go now, leave Surah Al-Kawthar, because I wanna make it a point that I'm gonna make a connection to. But I just explained you where is, we can shift a little bit the meaning of it, because not just shifting, because we need to understand the logical way. Now let's go to a different ayah, and this ayah is important because now we want to go a little deeper into the understanding of salawat, because Allah Azza wa Jal, He mentioned few times the salawat. For example, one of the times that Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned the salawat, He said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna Allaha wa malaikatahu yusalluna ala nabi. Yani Allah and the angels, they're doing salawat on Nabi. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. Oh, you believer, if you believe in Allah Azza wa Jal and what He did, do the same way, do the same act. Sallu alayhi wa sallimu taslima. And then always people, if you go to masjid, they will say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. But there is ayah in Surah Al-A'la. It's very important ayah that speaking specifically on the meaning of salawat and the shape of salawat, because I told you, even the brain, even the way how Allah Azza wa Jal, He created our face our skull. I will show you how. It is presenting the salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. The creation of the skull, the creation of the body, why it is carried, why our brain is not inside next to our heart, why the eyes is not in different place, and so on. Because Allah Azza wa Jal is having a wisdom behind that. Let's say in Surah Al-A'la, in ayah 14, he said, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَذَكَّى. This is the first rule to come to a real salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This is the first rule for you to understand what does it mean. Because salawat is not just a word, it's a level that you will reach. And when you reach this level, it will enrich your life to become the mirror of Rasulullah. This is very important. This is very dangerous to say, by the way. But we will see, we will show you where. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. He indeed shall be successful who purify himself. Indeed. He indeed shall be successful who purifies himself. This is the first rule. The second one. And وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى. Now we have two meanings too. The first meaning in the regular narration say, if you mention the name of your Lord, you will go pray. So every time you say Allah, you put your rug and then you start praying. Is it practical? Is it real? Is it logical? No. We have a significant means in the Quran Al-Karim. When you say, and I'm going to translate this one, and magnifies the name of his Lord and pray. By the way, in the Arabic language, saying when we say Rabbuhu, we translate that as Lord in English. When we say Allah, we can translate this as God, as Lord, as so on. When we say Ilah mean again Lord, all those meaning has one meaning, because Muslims, they still believe, some of them, that all those ones have one meaning. No. In reality, the Lord, Rabb over here, Rabbuhu, mean the one who is responsible for you. Allah Azza wa Jal is responsible for everything. No one's denying that. But Allah Azza wa Jal, He's given roles. And this is why when we say everything created from them and everything created for them, when everything created for them, then He is responsible for. I'll give you an example. In Arabic language, when we say the Lord of the house, the Lord of the house is mean Rabbul Bayt. Rabbul Bayt mean the father. The father is responsible for your kids. When Allah Azza wa Jal give you a na'ma mean a kid, a daughter, or He made you a Rabb. Mean what? Mean you are responsible for this person in front of Allah Azza wa Jal. Yawm al-Qiyamah. We have many narrations said, let's say someone raised his kids on taqwa and iman and so on. Allah Azza wa Jal, He said, if you raise your kids on taqwa and iman, Allah Azza wa Jal immediately He will grant you heaven. This is very important. Why? Because you are His Lord. His Lord mean you are responsible for. Even in England they say Lord. Lord mean someone He is responsible for certain people. Previously, now they say it more as a status. But previously, when it used to be a Lord, mean like a king, mean like someone who is responsible for certain people who are under. So وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى mean Allah Azza wa Jal, He's talking. Who is Rabb? When we say Muhammad, immediately what we'll say? Say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. See, when you mention the name of your Lord, and Lord here in the meaning of someone responsible for you, I'm not talking about God, because God is the Lord of the Lords. God, Allah Azza wa Jal, is Rabbul Arbab in Arabic, the Lord of the Lords. So when Allah Azza wa Jal said, I am the Lord of the Lords, mean there is Lord, mean someone responsible for you. A father is a Lord, a king is a Lord, someone who's responsible for earth is a Lord. And who is that? Now is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is what inherited by Amirul Mu'mineen, going through 12 Imam to Imam Al-Mahdi ajalallahu ta'ala farajahu sharif. So Imam Mahdi now is the Lord of the earth. So every time we say Imam Al-Mahdi, say sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wasallam. So the ayah here saying قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى. The zakat over here is purifying yourself, purifying your heart toward this road. And this road is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And said وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى, and mention the name of your Lord. And when we mention it, immediately we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So we do it, we say it every single time. The most beautiful things about this ayah, when you say وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى, when you mention your word fa, we have a fa. Over here, fa is representing Sayyida al-Zahra, because Allah Azza wa Jal, when He created Al-Asma' al-Husna, He created them as a real creation. I mentioned many times before in my lecture, Allah Azza wa Jal, He's not limited to anything. He's not limited to anything. Even the name Allah has a meaning. Well, Allah Azza wa Jal, the Lord created the Creator created this name because it has a significant meaning. Because it's the only word in all the languages that whatever you take any letter from inside, it will still have a meaning. Like Allah, you take the first letter, will say Lillah, for God. You take the second one, Lahu, for Him. You take the third letter out, Huwa, mean like something very concentrated inside. And this is what we say, the most loved name by Allah Azza wa Jal, Hu. The most loved name. Why? Because it is the shape of the hat in Arabic. It is the shape like a heart. So when we say Fasalla, mean we're talking about Sayyida Zahra. Why? Because when we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, where is Sayyida Zahra? In Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. See? So if we break up the meaning of this Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad to this ayah, we say Fasalla. It cannot be done without a Sayyida Zahra. If someone keeps saying Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad and he doesn't believe in Sayyida Zahra, Allah Azza wa Jalla, He will not accept his prayer, because the dhikr of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam cannot happen without knowing the meaning of Sayyida Zahra. Now we start connecting Surah Al-Kawthar. You see? We start making the connection between the Quran Al-Kareem and Surah Al-Kawthar and the real meaning of Salah. The second thing inside this ayah, when Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ, I want you to look at the shape of Fasalla. Fasalla, Allah Azza wa Jal, He did not make at the end, and He did not make at the end like regular salat. When we say salat, Fasalla, like you go do prayers, and I mentioned that. So over here, something important. What is the important is the shape of Fasalla, Salla in Arabic. When you write, for example, Sad, you know Sad, how we write it? It's like open, what, if you remember it? If you look at the Arabic letters, and it's important, Allah Azza wa Jalla created. I didn't make this lecture yet, I promised before I will make it, inshallah I will make it soon. All the Arabic alphabets are made from the sacred geometry, made from the circles, and made from the triangles, and made from the cubes, that all were gathered in a sacred geometry. So everything has a meaning. So the Sad I showed you before, it has the meaning of the whale that between the two circles in sacred geometry. There's two circles in sacred geometry, and between those two circles there's two meanings. The outside meaning is the ship. This is what represented by Al-Hussein alayhi salam. Al-Hussein, Allah Azza wa Jal, He gave him the ship. Why? Because He said you have to go to this ship for you to be saved, for Imam Hussein. And then, like Surah Yunus, when someone was thrown over the ship, like Yunus alayhi salam, Prophet Yunus, he was thrown out of the ship. Who did take him? The whale. This whale, He saved him, and he is under the whale. And then Allah Azza wa Jal, He presented the whale to who? To Imam Al-Hassan alayhi salam. That's why you won't see much about Imam Hassan. Few people mention Imam Hassan alayhi salam. Why? Because he is the whale of the universe. Anyone who was thrown by the ship, Imam Hassan, and he have the love of Ahlul Bayt salamullah alayhi, Imam Hassan, he will take him under that. And the whale here means Sad, this whale, because he continued all universe. It has two connection between Hassan and Hussein. And then we have Sad, lamb. Okay, look the unique creation of Allah Azza wa Jal. Remember this Sad like this, and then lamb like this, lamb. I want you to open the Quran, look at the Arabic letter, say write the Sad and write the lamb. So if you write the Sad and lamb, be Salla, this is mean Salla. What is, if we write them down, what they will bring those two together? Let's see. Let's look at our shapes. Let's look about how Allah Azza wa Jal created our face, over here and over here. Let's look inside. Let's go deeper. Okay, we see here. Over here we had the skull. We have this look like egg, look like whale over here, up and top, and where the brain is lay inside. And then the outside it has all the function sensors that we depend on to see the reality, to see the truth. You see over here the lamb and then the sod. When we see both, when we see the skull, we see that this section is represent the sod, and this section represent the lamb. What we have inside the lamb? We have the eyes, we have the nose, we can talk, we can speak, or from the mouth, and then we have the ears. So all the sensors that make your brain function and know and feel and concentrate and live the reality is Allah Azza wa Jal created it inside your head. All the important things are created inside your head, and the brain is over here behind inside the sod. Why he put that? If you look very close at your brain, the picture, any picture of any brain, just open Google, just write a picture of a brain. Inside this picture you see someone doing a sujood, complete sujood to Allah Azza wa Jal. Look at the shape, he's doing complete sujood to Allah. Any picture for the brain, from this side, you look from this side or from this side, you will see it like the brain is doing sujood inside the salt. Why? Because he is always in sujood. He is always trying to go to struggle the way to Allah Azza wa Jal. He always, the brain trying to bring Allah Azza wa Jal to your life. This is what we call consciousness. This is what we call the subconsciousness and the main consciousness and the unconsciousness world. This is a very deep, not just philosophical. Allah Azza wa Jal created all these codes for you to know, to understand, to see, to comprehend who is He exactly. Because at the very end, He wants you to know Him. He wants you to know Allah Azza wa Jal. He created Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam because He knows that if He create us immediately without Him, He cannot reach to us. He can send angels, He can send prophets and so on, but He need a main figure. He need someone to represent all the purity, someone to represent all the pictures of all the prophets, because all the prophets are small portion of what is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is. I mentioned this one before. I'll mention it very fast. For example, if you look at Isa, the name Isa, Jesus, in the middle of his name Yasin, and the corner is Ali, Ain and Ya, and the lamb is under Yasin, because Yasin is, when we spell it, if you write it in Arabic, it will be yes. Why we say Yasin? If you know a little bit Arabic, you write the Ya and then the Sin, and then you say yes. This is how you read it, but we read it as Yasin. Why? Because there's something in it. When you read it when you're reading the word without making the tone, you have to know there's some secret here in Arabic. It's not just written because it's beautiful language. No. Let me give you another example. Let's say Taha. Taha is one of the names of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But when you pronounce Taha in the way of Allah Azza wa Jalla, what He said, when you read Quran, read it out loud. Read it. Think about it. Think about the rhymes. What's rhyming now? Why it is rhyming this way? What this rhyme present in the frequency word? What He's trying to tell you? Is it making you feel good? Making you feel pure? Making you feel high? In a way of to reach Allah Azza wa Jal? What is this ayah doing to you? Why? Because every rhyme has a frequency, and every frequency it will attach to your brain, because brain has frequencies: alpha, beta, gamma, and theta, and zeta. Usually there's 4 to 5 frequency, and each one we go toward those phases. But for example, a thinker can stay in one the low frequency the most. The one who always talk rubbish and so on, he will stay in a high frequency. So the more pure you become, the more you become toward the purity. The more pure you become, the more lower your frequency is. The more lower frequency is, the more you can reach up to the heavens, and the more you reach up to the kingdom of Allah Azza wa Jal, to Malakutullah Azza wa Jal, and you can understand more and more from this creation. This is what we call ru'ya, ta'ammul, concentration. You do the concentration. This is how our prayers should be. So all those meanings connected together toward the meaning of Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. But I didn't reach the real meaning yet. So over here in the skull and the shape Sad. Okay, let's connect now to what? To Surah Al-Kawthar. Surah Al-Kawthar. And what level Allah Azza wa Jal want you to do? Look, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar. We gave you a Kawthar, Ya Rasulullah. We gave you the Kawthar. The Sayyidah Zahra. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. What? Now what do you do? Sad. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Like the first ayah. ومن قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى. You see fa. This is where Sayyidah Zahra is. Salli. What Rasulullah did when we did nahr, when we do the prayers, what do? We go, let's say usalli, let's say salat al-zuhr wajiban qurbatan Allah ta'ala, say what? Allah, you see, nahr over here, akbar. Look, I raised, I purified my fasalli Allahu wanhar. Do the nahr over here, do this symbol. This symbol is presenting a maqam toward Rasulullah. You're elevating this machine that Allah Azza wa Jal created. This is the machine that Allah Azza wa Jal, that's why He created alam al-dunya. The dunya we live on now, this universe, is because of this. If we don't have this, we don't have this tool, we will never understand what is it exactly. Who is Allah Azza wa Jal exactly? Before alam al-dunya, the presentation of our purity was basically based directly from the nafs, from the self. In alam al-dunya over here, I'm talking about alam al-dhar. In alam al-dunya over here, this presentation of this universe is presenting by aql only, and aql only will open the spirituality for you and will bring you toward Allah Azza wa Jal and make Allah Azza wa Jal inside your heart. This is the kingdom of Allah Azza wa Jal if you make your life toward Allah Azza wa Jal from your brain. So when He said fasalli Allahu Akbar li rabbika wanhar, who is Rabbuka over here? Who is Rabbuka? Isn't it Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? When we say fasalli li rabbika wanhar, it is like Allah Azza wa Jal in Surah Al-Kawthar is not just talking to Rasulullah, because the salat for Rasulullah and the nahr for Rasulullah is Sayyidah Zahra. But what is salat for us and what is nahr for us? What is it? Each one of us has a Kawthar. Each one of us. Fasalli. Now we do the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wanhar. Elevate your brain, elevate your all the sensors, everything you have on your brain, you're on this top level toward Rabbuka. Who's Rabbuka over here? Is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So when we say fasalli li rabbika wanhar, we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. When we say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, because Rasulullah is always under the blessing. Don't think when you say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, Allah Azza wa Jal, He's gonna send him a blessing. No, He is always under blessing. But when you say Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, you put yourself for that moment under this blessing that Allah Azza wa Jal He sent it to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So it's continuous. But for you to always be under this blessing, look, now you have to elevate yourself toward who? Toward Rasulullah. Why? Because when you know Rasulullah very well, your nafs won't be your nafs anymore. Yourself won't be yourself. It doesn't have this characteristic anymore. Let me give you an example. For example, Salman al-Muhammadi, he was a companion of Rasulullah, or Abu Dharr al-Ghafari, he was a companion of Rasulullah. But those two people, they worked so hard on forbidding evil, and they were hard on themselves to be a good believers. They performed the best prayers, they never lied after they believing, and so on and so on and so on. They did the best someone could do. And then that's why Rasulullah said Salmanu minna Ahlul Bayt. He is like us, Ahlul Bayt Rasulullah or Ahlul Baytillah. You see, there's difference. When Rasulullah said Salmanu minna Ahlul Bayt, he is from us, Ahlul Bayt. Did you think when he said Ahlul Bayt, this is mean his Ahlul Bayt or Ahlul Baytillah, the household of Allah, which is make more sense. Why? Because when you purify yourself, like the ayah said, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى, you succeed when you do that tazkiyah. Why? Because when you do tazkiyah, immediately you go to a certain level that what you are from Ahlul Baytillah, from the household of Allah. And when you are from the household of Allah, you are always under blessing of Allah Azza wa Jal, from Nur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when Allah Azza wa Jal look at you, He look through Rasulullah to you as what? as one person, because you completely dissolve yourself to Allah. You're now completely dissolved. You're no more yourself. You are like what Allah Azza wa Jal wanted you. Why? Through the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the real meaning of Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad, not just blessing. It's a level. It's something connected to the brain, something connected to the heart, something connected to the whole face. And all this is the blessing. All this is salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So always try to do salah. If you want to go toward the way of Allah Azza wa Jal, always do istighfar. Do astaghfirullah wa atubullah. Oh God, forgive me for all what I did, for all the bad sins, for all the hurts that I'm doing to all the people. Please forgive me. And then when He see the truth inside your heart, He will take it to what? He will say, okay, now your heart is ready. What after that? Your hat is ready from that name, remember? And then he will say what? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. You will start raising yourself. Try to do the salawat 1,000 times a day. Believe me, in very few time you will start feeling the blessing. You will start seeing many things, many wonders that Allah Azza wa Jal, He just wants you to focus on Him. Don't focus on angels. Don't focus on anything else. Just focus on the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his household, and because they will take you directly to Allah. I hope I delivered my lectures in a way that you understand it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.